Hello, this is Sam Simon, also known as Dementia Man, and this is my blog. Well, I'm recording on May 1st, May Day. And I'm going to post this is May 3rd, for the week of May 3rd. And this is Older Americans Month. And so there's a lot going on with Dementia Man, and we're going to talk about that a lot, and you'll be hearing from us a lot this month. But I had some reflections on Older Americans Month and actually on becoming older and what it means. And I know that I may have mentioned this before, but I was thinking some more about the aging American population, and I was thinking more about what it means to be older. So to maybe get you to keep listening, I have a poem I wrote. It's based on a dream. So I'm going to do my poem at the end on what older means or doesn't. And in the moment, though, I wanted to just re-emphasize what's happening it's not only the world, but focus on America. And there was an article in the New York Times recently, sort of about the burden of the older population as so many of us turn 80. So that's the first note, first fact. 2026 is the first year a baby boomer turns 80. So I wanted to know a little bit more about what it means for so many of us be turning 80. And so my little research says that, let me see if I can find that data. Oh, I know where it is. That the largest 80-year-old cohort in American history will occur in the early to mid 2030s. That's only 4 years from now. So that it's again an indication of the tsunami of the baby boomers turning 80. So around the 2035 era, the biggest part of the baby boomers will be turning 80. So let's see where that data is. Here a little bit more. So the large, okay, it's going to be, there are about, if I remember right, almost 7 million of us right now who are 80, and it's going to be triple that. In the next 5 to 7 years. So that is just a gigantic change in the demographics of this country. And we need to be preparing for it. I don't have the projection or prediction for that on how to minimize that or do anything about it. I guess I won't be lonely because my wife and I, Susan, my cognitive navigator, turned 80 last year, so we're in our 81st year. And I think, is it the 80s? Is 80 is the new 70 and not yet? Maybe the new 75 in terms of just overall health. And I think thanks to science and like that we can lead meaningful, productive lives, um, much more so into our 80s than ever before. Um, of course, I have Alzheimer's disease, and um, that means more of us will have these diseases, and there are more and more medicines coming up. Science is focusing on the aging world. So I think all that is good. Um, so this is just marking the beginning of Older Americans Month. What are you going to do for Older Americans Month? Um, there is the, who declares it. I assume that the president will have declared it at some point. Uh, the uh, national observance is led by the Administration for Community Living, also known as ACL, and that's Administration for Community Living. It says to recognize older adults' contributions, highlighting aging trends and support in independence. And the theme this year is champion your health. Love that theme. Champion your health. How do I, a man with early stage Alzheimer's, champion my health? I can. First of all, you try to get on the medicines, find out your APOE status, your genetic risk, go to get it as soon as you suspect something might be happening in your cognition, go to your internist and then a neurologist. And a couple of other things we can do. Let me reemphasize. I think anybody who has seen that there, well, a couple of things. 23andMe, and I think even Ancestry, which you give you can give your blood or spit them to, will tell you if you have an APOE4 genetic risk for Alzheimer's. You can simply go get a blood test at any place that gives blood tests. You can go to your local neighborhood clinic. You can go to your doctor's office and say, I just want to know my APOE4 status. There's some controversy of people, what difference will it make? Will it just worry you? But I think that APOE4 status tells you if you're at risk for Alzheimer's, and you can begin behaving in a way that protects your memory and looks and works to live a healthy older life. And one instance, it just means you're at a higher risk. One instance of APOE4 just means you're about 15 to 20% more likely. However, if you have two instances of APOE4, that means both sides of your family, you're almost 30% more likely to come down with Alzheimer's disease. And you can start getting in drug trials early. You can start monitoring your self early. So that's really important. Another new thing out there, I think I've mentioned it before, but as more of us get diagnosed, more of us go into cognitive decline, there's now the GUIDE program, GUIDE program. Look for that in your community, particularly if you've got the disease or someone in your family does. They provide one-on-one help. You can call. It's like it's the same thing. It's like a cognitive navigator, cognitive navigation. We now have breast navigation, and it's covered by Medicare in some places. It's going to be covered by Medicare. It's part of the GUIDE program is covered by Medicare. Okay. And find your purpose in this older part of your life. Um, you know, going back to the theme of 2026, champion your health. It says focusing on prevention, wellness, and self-advocacy. How do you become the best advocate for your own health out there? And what are the things you can do? You can host workshops, social events, storytelling, And guess what? The Older Americans Month was initiated by President John F. Kennedy and the National Council of Senior Citizens in 1963 as Senior Citizens Month. It was later redesignated as Older Americans Month. So here we go. You can also go to Older Americans, go to the ACL. Let's see if I can get you the website. Well, there's a website, ACL Administration for Community Living. You can just Google or go to your AI and say Older Americans Month poster, and there are posters out there for that too. So that's that now. I had a dream. It was a weird dream. I had a dream about age. I don't know what it was. It was about floating. It was weird. And I've written my poem for Older Americans Month. And by the way, you know I have the book. You can see it behind me. I'm about to get a book of my poetry done. I started writing poems in the early 2000. I don't have thousands of poems, but I have my favorites, and they're associated with my experiences. First with Susan, my wife. She went through breast cancer, and then there are now sort of reflections on my travel through this disease. So here's my newest poem, marking Older American Month, Older Americans Month 2026. And the title is Old, parenthesis, ER, parenthesis, older. Here you go. May is Older Americans Month. I wonder what older means. Am I old or just experienced? Or perhaps longer in my role? Does my status change during the day? Aren't we new every morning and older every evening? Living in the hood for 20 years or just moved in next door? Who's older? Maybe it's just the difference between new and used, fresh and stale, experienced and novice. I had a dream one recent evening, me floating through time, young to old and then back again, starting and finishing, beginning and ending, a very confusing state of being. I don't know what time means anymore. Maybe it's just that older is better than the alternative. Please, everyone, see how you can be involved in Older American Month in your community, in your neighborhood, in your church or synagogue, and help celebrate those of us in and turning into our 80s.